Can anyone tell me in the chat if they um, can see my screen, please? This is the first time in a while that I've done this, so please let me know in the chat. Hold on. Um, I will continue if I have. Okay. Okay, it's working. That's good. Now, what I wanna do with this live stream is just talking about not fainting. Okay? And I can communicate directly with you guys in the chat over here. So you can respond immediately instead of me having to go to my email or waiting on the comments. So, who of you have watched my videos, my latest 3 videos? Let me know. Meanwhile, let me see if my webcam can also, it will also be visible in this. Hold on. Um, yes, I think it's working. Good. I'll put this below here. I think that should be good. So, okay. Let me see if you can see this. Yes, you can still see it. Okay. About the video about faint not. Are there any questions concerning that video? Just let me know immediately because I'm in the live stream here. So okay, that's good. Uh, you haven't received notifications from my channel? Well, I hear that a lot. I don't know what it is. I even contacted YouTube about it, but it's not only me that has this issue. Many YouTubers have it. It can be a form of hidden protection. I'm not sure what's going on. But my previous live stream, in the past, when you came to YouTube for a live stream, YouTube had its own streamer built into the website. Today, when I went to the live stream option, well, I was told you need to download your own live stream. So I just deleted that live stream, but for some reason it wasn't processed. So people were still thinking I was on a live stream. So I deleted that one eventually and started this one. So about faint not. The reason why Christ told us to keep on praying is because prayer is effective. And I already explained that we shouldn't pray like the heathens do. But in a lot of churches, this is not explained well, so I want to continue on that subject in this live stream. When you pray, it's not uh, it's not as if you're going before a civil judge here in some pagan courthouse and you cite a form in which language to get a petition heard. That's the idea many believers have when it comes to prayer. That idea is wrong. It's very wrong. Let me go deeper with it. That idea is satanic. You hear me? It's a satanic idea. I want you to just think about it for a moment, believers, because I'm addressing believers in this video. I don't expect any unbeliever to spend time on this channel unless they're trolling or they're interested in the truth. I hope the last part. I had a lot of trolls in the past. Just think about it. A lot of folks, when they pray, they fold their hands in a Masonic gesture, because you have all those X's, and they are going like this. They're begging as a slave for mercy. That is what criminals do when it comes down to them receiving a sentence from judges in the world. They often do that to avoid a bigger sentence or to avoid the death penalty. But when it comes to God, we shouldn't have this begging attitude. Because the moment you have this begging attitude, you're actually saying that you don't trust God. This begging attitude works when you are making petitions in the world, because the world is founded in fear. Society is a fear construct. So if you use that same pagan mentality that the world conditions you into when you are praying to God, or when you're just walking by faith in general, then of course there will be a shipwreck in your faith. Because what's happening now is that you have the patterns and cycles of the world, which are bondage, which will weigh you down, and you're operating in this bondage in the name of Christ. So that goes wrong. Always. It cannot go well. What should happen is that you rely on what Christ told you about himself, about the kingdom. The kingdom of God is the only real kingdom. The kingdoms of this world are simulations that are enforced on the population. The kingdom of God is the only true real kingdom there is. Let it get through to you. So when Christ teaches you about the kingdom, you should agree with how the kingdom operates. So it's by agreeing with how the kingdom operates that you become able to operate in the power of the Holy Spirit. How you get this now? So if you are not operating in the power of the Holy Spirit, then what are you doing? Okay, another example. This mobile phone is a Rico Jerry. It's a Chinese brand, I found out. I thought it was French, but it's Chinese. It's a version Jerry, and you need electricity for it to work, obviously, because it's an electronic device. But you also need to have a Wi-Fi connection for it to work. It does work without Wi-Fi, but for it to work according to its purpose, you need Wi-Fi. You're meant to call with it. You're meant to use apps. You're meant to post pictures. You're meant to do all of those things with the device. That's why, in order to make use of the apps, you need to have a Wi-Fi connection that works. If you don't have a Wi-Fi connection that works, then the only thing you're doing is you are using a device outside of its actual purpose. Because this is a mini computer. We call it a phone, but it's really a mini computer. And computers come to their full use with the internet. That's how you can make the deep connections with connection all over the world. So if I want to watch a YouTube video, I should have a Wi-Fi connection or a 3G or 4G connection. And I'm going to talk about 5G now. This is a controversial subject. If you don't have a connection to the internet, you can go to YouTube every time you want. Anytime you want to go to YouTube. But you can't search for any videos. You can't post anything. You can't load any video because you don't have the connection. It's only when you have the connection that you can work with the YouTube app as it should. We understand it because we're used to this modern technology. When it comes to the spirit world, it goes like this. You are a human being. That means you are a spirit being with a soul. So the soul is an internal part of you as a spirit being. So it's not something that can be separated from you. Okay, so you are a spirit being with a soul inhabiting a body. So the body is an extension of you. It's not you, but it's an extension of you. It's your materiality. Okay? And as a human being, you are a spirit being, so you have spirit abilities. But to use spirit abilities outside of Christ will exhaust you. Okay? You're intended to walk in God's strength. Okay? And God's strength is glorified in your human fragility, your human weakness. Okay? So if you, as a human being, you're not in line with Christ, that means you can't operate in the power from the Holy Spirit. I won't say similar, but I'm going to use technology again as a parable. If you're not connected to Wi-Fi nor some 3G or 4G network, you cannot make use of WhatsApp, YouTube, or you can't communicate on a large distance without it. So, if a human being doesn't operate in the backup from the Holy Spirit, that means they have lack. Let it get through to you. If someone is not functioning as Christ intended, which means that they are in alignment with Christ, therefore the power of the Holy Spirit flows through them and they walk with power. If they're not operating like that, they have lack. And this is the lack that worldly people want compensation for. So now evil spirits come along and they offer you a substitute for the Holy Spirit, which is the demonic realm. And because evil spirits have bigger knowledge than human beings do, because evil spirits don't have to sleep, they don't have to eat nor drink, because they are awake all the time, and they've been around here for centuries, they have far better knowledge than the common human being. We haven't been, those of you who are watching this live stream now, you haven't been here longer than 100 years. There are some people that have been here longer than 100 years, but most of us weren't here 100 years ago. Demons have been here for thousands of years. So they have way more knowledge than a regular human being, and they're using this advantage to trap you into cycles and patterns. So when you are not walking by faith, so when you're not operating as you should, as a spirit being, then what's happening is that you are now doomed to fall for any type of deception. Hide through crimes, and read some of the chat. Noel said, I hate to call the Holy Spirit a toolkit, but that's our overcoming supply Christ provided. The Holy Spirit is that connection. True. But okay, where was I? Oh, yes. When you are not walking by faith, you're doomed to fall for any type of deception. You won't fall for all deceptions because that's not possible, because there are way too many deceptions out there. But you will fall for one deception or the other. Evil spirits are diverse in how they operate. If someone is from some Zulu tribe in Africa and they are more connected to nature, they will then evil spirits won't come with um, advertisements like they do in, for example, Britain or the Netherlands, because the because those people from that Zulu tribe are not that disconnected from themselves as the people in Western Europe. So with the people of Western Europe, you can come with very cheap deceptions, and people will fall over for you. If they would come with those same cheap deceptions to some Zulu tribe, the people are going to think, "Are you kidding me? You think we're so dumb?" No. So with the Zulu tribe, you come with more complicated deceptions to lure them in. I hope you get what I'm saying here. So when you are not in line with Christ, you have to hold on to something. Because human beings do hold on, but they often hold on to the wrong things. What you should hold on to is your confession in Christ. That's where power is, that's where healing is. Anything else you associate yourself with and you guard them, if it's something valuable like relationships, family, or to some extent tools or property, but you don't cling on to them. But if you're not in line with Christ, so you're not holding on to his testament for you, which is the New Testament, then what you're left with is simulations by the paranormal that in the best case scenario will relieve you from harmful situations, but there is no real deliverance in it. So if you're not in agreement with Christ, actually you're doomed if you're not in agreement with Christ. Now look, don't get this wrong. If you're born again, you're saved. But if you're born again, but you're not in line with Christ, then as long as you're in this body, you're trapped just like someone from the world, even though you are saved. That doesn't mean that you are lost. You're not lost. You can never be lost because you are saved from the second death because you're born again. That's permanent. That's forever. But if you don't walk by faith, you will share temporarily in the doom of those that are perishing. But if you're not born again at all, you can't even agree with Christ if you're not born again. So if you're not born again, you're just doomed. That's the truth. Okay, let me look at the Psalms piece. Agreeing with Christ, Holy Spirit elevates above circumstance. Sean Kwan, null movement deceptions that cancel themselves out. Near here, late reply, yes, I have it. Okay, good. So the live stream is working. So, yes, I'm glad Sean Khan mentioned null movements because I've spoken about null movements before. So, it comes down to that. If you're not walking by faith, you're only left with null movements. Okay. Let's see what I have here that I can show a null movement to you. No, we're not going to do it like that. Okay, you can see my mouse on here, so let me check something out here. Let me know if you can see the cursor of my mouse. Can you see my mouse moving on the screen? Let me know. Hold on. No. I'm going to wait till Let me see. I think my mouse is visible. Yes, my mouse is visible. Okay, good. So my mouse is visible. So this is what I'm going to do. Google. Um, all right. Let me. Okay, the mouse cursor is there. Now, what you see here is the infinity loop. It's an ancient symbol that predates the Greek Empire. So it's before this Apollonian rule we have now. And in the world, they use this symbol for many things. But the real meaning of the symbol I explained in another video, but I'm willing to repeat it again. Oh, I love this picture. Not because of the content, but it shows exactly what I wanted to say. Hex. Now in Dutch, the Dutch word for witch is hex. You write it in a different way. You write it like this: H-E-K-S, hex. Here's a hekserij, which is witchcraft. And in English, hex, H-E-X. Let me type it for you. They have various definitions, of course. But what it comes down to is as follows. A hex is different from a spell. When someone puts a hex on you, they are charging you. With a spell, okay, let me look at the comments. Okay. With a spell, you are triggered by your by the blurring of your perception. Okay? That happens when someone puts a spell on you, or collectively a spell is enforced on you. Your perception is blurred. When a hex is done on you, you are charged. So okay, let me give an example. Let's say that you have this witch, because remember, witches are women, warlocks are males. Let's say you have this witch that has this love spell. Not specific love spell on anyone specifically, but she just put this love spell on her that people just fall over for it. People just embrace her instantly. When she walks by, this you see she has this weird attraction towards her that triggers your attention. The reason it triggers your attention is because females don't have this magnetic pull in their energy field. Males do. So when she walks around with this magnetic pull, it's not her pull, it's evil spirits doing it. You sense a pull coming in her direction, and when you see it's a woman, your brain feels confused because the brain, which is designed by the Most High, which has the natural programming, knows that only males have this magnetic pull installed in their energy field. So you then see when you then see a woman and there's this pull towards her, you get, let's say, you can't figure out what's going on. So that's a spell right over there. Your perception is blurred. You see a female, so your natural expectation is there's a softness and a willingness to receive over there. But now you see a female and you experience this male heavy presence. But it's a female. So now you're tricked into thinking that your natural senses are wrong. Because you do feel this pull, but it doesn't match the situation. That's a spell. Okay? By the way, this live stream is like 4 or 5 seconds later online. I don't know why, but I'll continue here, and I do receive your comments. So if you have questions in between, just leave in the live chat, okay? If I go too fast, just tell me. Or if I need to repeat something, you can tell me also. Don't don't be shy. There's no need for shyness around here. Okay, where was I? Okay, so that's a spell. A hex is when you are in your daily routine and for some reason suddenly you are completely distracted. It is as if you feel so dizzy, you feel so out of touch with what's around you that you don't know what's going on. When a hex is placed on you, you get disoriented quickly. When it's a spell, your perception is blurred, but you can still function. You can still think and operate and act and process things, but you can't process them correctly because your perception is blurred. But you still have a perception. When a hex is done on you, there's instant, um, how do I say, instant shock that causes you to lose all orientation around you. And when this happens over and over again, that's a hex being done on you. Now, a hex is different from a psychic attack in the sense that psychic attacks are often pure emotional, and a hex is intentional. So if you have a group of people that are murmuring and menting negatively about you emotionally, that's often spontaneously because they're into the negative. Okay? That's a psychic attack. When it's a hex, they come together, oft, because hexes are often done in a group. They come together with their candles, with chicken blood or dog blood or cat blood, whatever, and they conduct their ceremonies against you, chanting weird hymns, all of that. So a hex is a, a purpose-centered ritual to cause its disorientation on you. Okay? Now, I wanted to explain the difference between a spell and a hex to you, so that you won't be confused about it. Okay, this symbol, this infinite symbol, when you look at it, it goes like this. It starts here, goes around here, and ends up back where it began. Or if you start here and the other way around, it's the same thing. So there are two parts. Okay? And here you can see it also, there are two parts in it. And those parts appear to be separate. Because there's this illusion of separation. For example, you see a hole here and a hole here. So let's say you have a group of people who are in this hole over here. And then you have a group of people in this hole over here. Those people will perceive as if they're separate from one another. But when you look at the context, they are trapped within the same hole because there's only one hole with an appearance as if there is separation. So when you have this dualistic thinking, you're thinking opposites, you automatically want to take a road that will lead to relaxation, will lead to favorable consequences. But when you are in this fallen mind, this thinking opposites, it doesn't matter which direction you take, whether it's left or right, Republican, Democrats, conservative, whatever it is, you will end up in a loop. Here, there's a high. It goes down. There's a crisis. Oh, now there's an escalation. Oh, it's getting better, getting better. Whoa, it's getting better. Great, great. You're at the top again. And now you feel like you've achieved a lot. But then suddenly, oh there. No, 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 no. We're not going there. Oh, yes. It went there. It starts all over again. You're just a bit older now. You may have contact with other people. Slightly different circumstances, but it's the same cycle. That's a null movement. So the pagan businessmen that use these symbols, they know what they're doing. Here you see, this is by a Dutch Fleur Willemijn, or maybe she's Belgian. Here you see they're using it to reach customers because they know that worldly people hold on to patterns and cycles. That's why the business models they come up with are centered around establishing patterns for the customer. And of course, they try to make it fancy. When you look at it, it's the same pattern. The same goes for the criminal world. Let me look at the comments. Okay, hold on. Can you talk about how hacks and spells relate to the Joker clown scapegoats? Okay. Well, let me see if that's how your bank account ends up when you into relief seeking. True. I was hunting for your videos. I'm glad you did, but I'm glad when people watch my videos, but I'm more happy when you begin to practice what I've said by agreeing with Christ and walking in the power. Okay? I'm making these videos so there is Christ-centered content out there. Okay? That's why I keep making these videos. But the purpose is so that you will walk in the power. Okay? Okay, another. I may address that C scrolls in another video. Or if you can send me an email about it. But okay, I'm going to talk about the Joker Clown scapegoat connection, as near here asked. And Noel asks, a constant focus on Christ blocks it. Now look, when you are in agreement with Christ, you're freed from this loop over here. You're free from null movements when you are in agreement with Christ. Okay? So this is the circular movement worldly people are trapped in. That's why many of them, you think that they've changed, but they end up worse because it's a loop. Okay, about the Joker clown scapegoat connection, I made videos about, but okay, let me go to google.com. Clown. I'm talking about clowns, so I'm showing pictures of clowns here because I want to explain the symbology behind why they dress up clowns like that also. Let me see if there's any new. Trina's through 7, I'm walking it out, brother. Good. Curly girl, thanks for being here. But okay, about clowns. I've explained before that the clown is a victim. What happened was that during the Roman era, well, the late Roman era, and also in the Middle Ages, there was this custom that people would pick up a mentally ill civilian, they would dress him in white, and they would put decorations on him, and then people would pretend as if they didn't do it. So everyone in that town would do their day-to-day business, where it's the baker baking bread, the butcher catching and processing meat, or the mayor discussing things with businessmen. So people were doing their thing, so they were in their patterns and cycles. And then you had this mentally ill individual who was dysfunctional in the community, dressed in white and decorated with jewelry, with makeup, and with sometimes expensive shoes also. So why did they do this? Because this was the effect. Everyone around would begin to think, why is that individual dressed in such a weird way? And because the way that individual is dressed is out of sync with how the common fashion is of the community, people become irritated by it. And sooner or later, unconsciously, the people of that community begin to associate all their frustrations and their inner unrest with that mentally ill individual that's decorated. And that will lead to people calling that individual names, and from names it will turn into physical violence. People will throw objects at the individual. Sometimes it can be they throw hammers at the individual, or chairs, or dung from animals, or human feces, or sometimes rotten fish. Also, people often use fish sauce, which is called garum in the Roman world. In the medieval world, they use another mushroom ketchup, I believe, but or some other variant. But okay, that's what they did. So the mentally ill individual that was decorated was the victim of those people. And why did they conduct this ritual? They did this so that the people in that community could relieve stress. Because common people cannot handle stress. They can't handle frustration. They can't endure disappointment. So, because common folks don't want to deal with all of this, first of all, they have difficulty dealing with such stuff because they don't follow God. Because of that, they need some outlet for their tensions, or else those tensions are going to mess up their mind, mess up their head. And once their heads are messed up, they may escalate suddenly and people get hurt. And even if they don't escalate physically, when you have a lot of folks vibrating on a negative scale, it's going to produce a lot of dark matter, and dark matter is going to pollute the environment. It's going to attract a lot of evil spirits. So, victimization of that decorated individual, or we call it the clown, is a way to get rid of their demons. When you read the, I would say, the history of Christ going to Gadara, Christ intervened because that ritual that I just talked about, that's what's going on. That man that had a legion of demons, he was the clown of that community there in Gadara. So that clown ritual, it was conducted over there, and what happened? Christ came in, and Christ was not happy about it. Christ dealt with the demons, and Christ eliminated its function. So Christ freed that man. And that man himself wanted help, because when that man was demon possessed saw Christ, he sensed that this man could help me. He ran to Christ, but the demons prohibited the man from asking for help. And instead, the demons spoke through the man, saying Christ to leave them alone because they don't want to go to the pit before the time. Demons know they're lost. What did Christ do? Christ freed the clown. The demons that were pushed ritually on this man through victimization now headed towards the swine. Because that's also what they did in ancient times. They would breed a herd of swine so that when the demons had nowhere to go, the demons could hang around the swine. Because demons love swine. Because swine reflect their filthiness. Swine are like the vacuum cleaners of nature. Okay? So the dung from other animals, feces, and all the trash in nature, swine feed on them and clean the environment. Okay? But that's what they're supposed to do. Okay, that's how God designed it. Swine are meant to be biologically filthy so that the environment remains clean. Evil spirits, however, were never meant to be bitter, resentful, frustrated, or any of that. That's their fallen state. I'm not talking about the Nephilim because they shouldn't even exist at all. But the fallen ones were never intended to be in that negative state. But they are in this negative state, so now they want something that's similar to them in their fallen state. And the swine is biologically unclean, so they feel comfortable around the swine. Okay? So what they often did was they had their clowns and they would have a herd of swine. Not because they loved eating bacon. Okay, some places they loved eating bacon. But you had that herd of swine so that just in case the demons would move away from the scapegoat, they would hang around the swine. So then the community was at ease. So the people in the community didn't have to deal with their dysfunction, with their narcissism, nor with any of their defects, because the demons that would feed off of them are now at the swine or they're at the scapegoats. Okay? So that's why they had herds of swine. So When Christ dealt with that clown ritual, the population became terrified. They turned on him because they depended on that clown ritual for their internal sanity. Okay, just like a drug, drug addict, super, just like a cokehead. Okay, maybe cokehead is a verbal term. Well, I'm not sure, but a cokehead is someone that's addicted to cocaine. They call him or her a cokehead because they are real dependent on it. A cocaine addict depends now on that substance, cocaine, for his or her mental sanity. That's why the moment they don't take cocaine anymore, their mental disturbance becomes visible because it's a cocaine that numbs them down mentally so that they don't experience their anxiety. In the same way, people often, and this world of people, they depend on collective victimization, so on scapegoating for their mental sanity. They are at ease because they receive the relief from the community. They're part of this bubble, and they can compare themselves to those victims who are far worse off than they are, and that's what makes them feel good. So that is the reason that clowns exist. Okay? Now, the reason many clowns look so creepy because the modern day clown costume is designed to reveal the horror of what the clown ritual really was. Because the clown was not killed by the community as a scapegoat. He was kept alive by a group of people with the purpose to be victimized. But the clown ritual eventually was banned from public. That's somewhere in the 17th century this was done because you had many Protestant believers that revolted against this, and the influence of those believers caused societies worldwide to ban the practice. But in Asia, it was banned in the 19th century, and in China, I believe, in the early 20th century. So Asia, especially East Asia, is quite late in this. The place where you can still find the clown ritual is in the corporate world and in some college universities. That's why you have those fraternities and sororities. In fraternities and sororities, the clown ritual is still present. It shouldn't be present because it's against the law, but it's there because it's effective. So, let me go back. Okay, so I hope you understand now what this whole clown, where this whole clown thing comes from. So, let me show you this picture. This image that you see over here comes from the Joker. And let me hold on. What the heck? Okay, are you guys still here? Can you see me? Okay. The Joker, we know it as this character in the Batman series, but the Joker comes from a card game that shows how worldly societies operate. And the Joker, it's himself is an evil spirit. Now, those people here are just actors or people that go to anime conventions that wear such costumes. But this image is from an actual evil spirit, a fallen angel that is active in the demonic realm. So anytime people dress up as a Joker, they are mimicking the image of a demon. Now the Joker wasn't always like this. It used to be just a common clown, but today clowns are dressed up as Jokers, as that evil spirit. That's why they even put many colors in it to promote sodomy. Okay? What does this has to do with hexes and spells? Now, it comes, before I go, okay, Sean Kwan said in bed when the Joker was victimized, then he turned into the perpetrator, but it was enabled by those around him. Yes, that's true. Um, okay, I'm going to I'm going to respond later. Okay, hexes and spells when it comes to the Joker clown thing. The clowns in ancient times, in the medieval ages, all the way to the 19th century, they were meant both to put a spell on the community. Your perception was blurred in a sense that you were triggered into thinking you're superior to someone else because you are not victimized. So you are taught to feel special because you're not like him or her over there. And the clown itself was under a hex because the leaders in that town were pagan, would come together often on Sunday. Remember, they worship the beast, the sun god, okay? And they would do the ceremonies on that individual and some other individuals also in the community so that the individual remains disorientated. Because once you are disorientated and you can't function well in daily life, and when you can't function well in daily life, people will label you as mentally ill. They will label you as weird. And if this continues and you are constantly disorientated, you will begin to believe that you are inferior. You will begin to believe the lies that they're emitting onto you. And once you believe those lies, you're now in agreement with your own victimization without you being aware of it. And that is what happened to the clowns in the past. So the hex is to trick you into thinking bad about yourself. A spell is meant to make you feel special in a certain area as distraction for the exploitation that's going on. So with a spell, there is someone or a group of people that want to exploit you, but they can't do it openly because that would be too obvious. So what they do is they blur a perception, which causes you to feel special in one way, and because you feel special over here, your natural urge for significance is triggered. Because you feel significant here, you're distracted from seeing that you're being exploited. With a hex, you are made, let me say, dysfunction is forced on you violently, and because it's done so often, and you don't notice people doing it on you, you have headaches, you can't sleep well, you can't communicate well with other people, and then you begin to think that there's something terribly wrong with you. Even though you're being victimized, it's not really you that's doing it's you being victimized. But because people around you see dysfunction and they resist the dysfunction because they are narcissistic, they want to be policed at all times, because they blame you and you hear complaints all the time, your mind becomes acclimatized to blame, and before you know it, you are in self-blame. That's what an hex is. So you have the actual warlocks and witches behind the scenes that are doing the ritual, and the dysfunction happens, and common people enable the hex on you, which causes you to go further on the road of self-destruction. I hope that is clear. Let me go to let me see. Um, so near here, I hope you're still here in the watching live stream. That's connection between spells, hexes, and that clown joker ritual. So again, a spell. This is for those that um, are new in the live stream. Please watch the live stream from the beginning later on. A spell is when your perception is blurred. You can still You still have perception, you can still function, but you can't function to your best. You can function optimally to your best version of you because your perception is blurred. Okay? It's same as having a GPS system, but you type in the wrong address. It will work correctly, but it won't get you to the right destination. That's what a spell is. And a spell intends to blind you from someone that's exploiting you. Whether it's a group of people far away or relatives close by, that's what a spell is. Um, a hex is when you are shaken. It's the same as um, someone chokes you over and over again. What happens? Someone chokes you over and over again. You begin to lose. You begin to you have difficulty breathing. You begin to lose sight. You may faint. You're disorientated because someone is choking you and shaking you. Well, that is what an hex is. Through energetic assaults, you cause this dissociation on someone, and they sooner or later they begin to think that they are defect and that for some reason they deserve what's happening to them. Okay, let me see. Okay, let's see if there are more questions here. Okay, we have 26 people in the live stream now. This live stream was officially about not fainting, but I end up explaining all those other stuff, which is necessary because we need to know all of that. And you understand now. Hold on, I have another question. What's the name of the evil spirit the Joker represents? Well, normally I don't go into that on a live stream because I don't want to give evil spirits too much glory. But I will reveal it maybe a bit later in the live stream. Okay. But before I go there, I just want to make plain to you believers that these things are what the world is doing. Today, you have these actors that dress up like an evil spirit, and people think it's funny and cute. That's what they do now. But there's nothing cute, fun, nor laughing about dressing up as a demonic entity. There isn't. Now look, if you have an anime convention or a fantasy convention, people dress up as cartoon characters, that's different. But this here is not a cartoon character. Okay? So that's what you need to understand about this world. Things that are quite disturbing and that can't be, how would I say, that can't be reconciled with Christ, that can't even be reconciled with common sense, they reintroduce those things to the masses, but they sugarcoat it. Because just as I mentioned before in this live stream, the clown ritual was banned in many places due to the influence of believers. After the 1960s, many believers became entrapped in false teachings, and because of that, less believers were walking in the power of Christ. So now Hollywood, or let's say Hollyweird, or better the Jesuit wizards that ran and still run Hollywood, they were now able to introduce all that old garbage in a new package. Why? Because the believers were distracted. Okay? So believers have the ability to shut down all of these things collectively. Not individually, but collectively, we have the ability to shut down all this garbage. But a lot of believers don't think that collectively we're able to do this. There will still be garbage anyway because you still have unbelievers and enablers and predators on the earth, but we have the ability to shut things down collectively in an effective way without having to become violent nor endanger ourselves. But then you also have a lot of believers who think they don't have the right to do it, but people have free will to do whatever they want to do. Okay? So that's why believers ought to be prayerful at all times. Okay, let me read the live chat. Um, People talk about the Illuminati. Let me explain this, guys. The Illuminati is a bronze name. That's the wizards use to bronze what they're doing, and they've also used it to distract common people. The same as a gang that uses different names, different nicknames, or you may have an actor using different um, roles. Illuminati is also a label they've used for their marketing. That's it. Don't be too distracted by it. Sean Juan says any form of relief seeking will benefit you in the short term, but cost you in the long run. You lose sleep, have headaches, will distract you, and exploit you financially and emotionally. Then Curly Girl says no such thing as a good witch. Praise the Lord. Curly Girl, I'm glad you said that. Now, I want to go into that first. There are women out there who practice witchcraft, thinking they can do good with witchcraft. There is this thing called white magic, and they think that white magic is good magic they can use to help other people. Now look at things twisted. Witches can do good things. Evil spirits can do good things. And even if you have a witch who has no evil intentions, she's involved with something that's evil. And evil spirits can only do things based on interest because they're parasites. So you can't come with good intentions to the paranormal and expect good things to come out of it. It will not happen. Everything that will come out of the paranormal will be destruction and corruption. That's it. No long-term good will come from the paranormal. The term good witch that's used in the world means a woman that's a witch that is a good influence onto others. First of all, to be involved in the paranormal will always hijack every good intention you have. Because you're dealing with demons. It's the same as taking 10 million euros or $10 million and you trust it to money launderers and thugs. Do you seriously think your money is going to be guarded by those scammers? They're scammers, remember. Yes, they will keep portions of what you donate to them, of what you entrust to them, but they will waste it and use it to do wrong. Okay? The term good witch, actually it can't work. A woman who is not aware that what she's involved in is demonic, she is innocent in the regard that she's not aware that she has been deceived. So she doesn't willfully practice the dark arts. So she needs deliverance from what she's involved in. But the moment they are aware that it's not from God, and it's not nature and all of that, the moment they realize that there is evil involved, they should retreat. And if they begin to deny it, try to justify it, then they're fully culpable for what they're doing because now they are agents. And most of the witches out there are agents, straight up. In this day and age, when witchcraft is promoted to young girls here and there, even in a promotion, the wizards show you that it's evil. So in this day and age, having women involved in witchcraft that don't know what they're doing, it may happen, but in general, don't fall for it. Let me see. Okay, guys, please don't fight in the live chat. Okay, just remain in the positive. Thank you very much. Um, okay, so I explained about witches that there's no such thing as a good witch. That's good. Someone called Three Sweet as how do you know what or who is stealing your energy? Hey, Savage Boy, I don't mean you directly, just everyone in general. Remain on a high frequency, okay? Um, okay, about stealing of energy, okay, I can look for an image for you. Um, okay, let me wait till, okay, good. So over here, stealing of energy. Hold on. What you see on this image um, is a woman who's upset and she's draining another woman who's at peace. This is what stealing energy comes down to. When you have someone who's not into seeking solutions, they're not into complying with solutions either, so they don't want to be involved in any type of justice, such an individual is what they consider an energy vampire because they suck up your life source. When they are around, you even feel as if you're getting tired. That is without even speaking to you. Some of you, um, some of you that are watching this, and I want to talk to you directly, so listen carefully. Some of you, you have relatives or friends that call you or they text you on whether on Facebook or on WhatsApp or Instagram, whatever app you're using, and anytime you you pick up your phone and you see that individual, you feel a bit, you feel fright or you feel tired. Now my question is, why are you still in contact with that individual? Why? Am I telling you to be mean and just cut people off and ignore people? No, I'm not telling you to do all of that. Just ask yourself, why are you still involved with an individual that gives you negative shocks? It's not individual attacking you. It's just your inner alarm that's between your kidneys. It's your spirit alarm going off because there's danger. Look, if you have a minefield, okay, I'm going to use some visuals because visuals are good for the memory. Oh, dear, I'm tired of seeing this entity. Um, Minefield. Okay, if you're on a minefield, okay, because in the spirit world, there are no signs saying Minas, and there's no hatch telling you, oh, you are dealing with dangerous folks here. No. But if you're on a literal military minefield, the mines are hidden. And if you have a, how would I say, if you have a mine detector, I believe this individual, who has a mine detector around here? Oh, I don't want to see this. Oh dear, not. I'm going to keep myself polite here. Okay, here. If you have a metal detector that to detect mines, the detector will go off and it will give shocks to the handle over here anytime it senses that the mine is near. So anytime you sense that shock, you know, oh, there's danger near. People that work with removing mines, they know that you need to take those shocks seriously. But when it comes to many of you guys, you sense shocks, but because someone has a title of brother, sister, cousin, friend, significant other, whatever, you think that that's more important than your safety. Why are you doing that? The moment you sense those shocks in your energy field, you know you need to lower contact with this individual. Just do it. Okay, you don't always have to explain it. Okay. Mm, okay. So for you guys individually, pay attention to your inner radar. Um, don't just hold on to that bubble of friends, family, and all of that. There's nothing wrong with having friends and family. Okay, there's nothing against that, but when you send that toxicity, you know what you have to do. Okay. Now look, about sovereign of which to live, I've made a video about it indeed, as near here said. So please go and watch that um, movie. Oh, there's one thing I want to address in this live stream, and that's I've spoken about the clown and the Joker. I'm going to say another thing about missing people. Okay? Okay. So okay. Now this is the website of the Dutch police. The Dutch police has been nationalized several years ago, and these are people that are missing, and nobody knows where they are. Okay, let me go all the way to the beginning. Deaf people, the oldest missing individual in their database is this Annie Heiligers, Heiligers from Eindhoven. She has been missing since 1966 and she is 75 now. This is how it works. When a case becomes way too old and they calculate that the individual is past the age of 80 or the individual, then they often drop it because they think there's no use anymore in looking for this individual because their relatives have passed away already. So they leave it. Now, murder cases never expire, but even then, they don't have the same priority as the fresh cases because in the fresh cases, the perpetrator is still there. This is what I'm going to do now. I'm going through this list back, and I want you to check those folks. Okay? I'll explain later why I'm doing it. Okay, but first let me look at the. Okay, Holy One Kenobi asks, do anyone know what prayers are effective to destroy hexes or curses that a witch would place on foods? Um, okay. If, for example, hold on a minute. Okay, I'm back. This is an apple. Okay, and an apple you can eat it as long as it's not sour, as long as it's not infected, you can eat it. Let's say a witch or warlock puts a hex on food. What happens then is that they simply focus on the food with their mind, and they are releasing angry thoughts and negative emissions onto the apple. They, for example, you may see an old lady murmuring, complaining in the direction of a basket with fruit, and you're thinking, okay, she's an elder lady. She maybe have issues that she needs to talk to about. That sometimes those are witches being active. What do? They they drop all that negative energy on the food, and at a cellular and microscopical level, it causes changes in the food. So the moment you eat it, you receive the tension within the food. If a food has been laden with negative energy and you eat it, it can be a sweet apple, but when you eat it, you feel this bitterness in it, even though it's a sweet apple. That is because your body senses dark matter, and the body responds immediately with resistance. That's why you sense it bitterness. So that's the thing. If there's a sweet apple and you take it, if the apple is new and sweet, and suddenly tastes bitter, watch out. What do? You walk by faith all the time. So, well, whenever you're about to eat something, where's a meal or something, just say something like, "Praise the Lord, thank you, Father," or just decree this food is blessed and fulfilling. Praise the Lord. Just decree in confidence the blessing on that food. What happens is when you do that, the power goes on the food, and all if there was dark matter around, it's destroyed by the fire of your righteous emission. So that's effective against witches and warlocks and people that contaminate food. Okay? Now let's. Okay, you have someone that says it's bright coast to coast. That's when you let go of fear, a lot of creeps vanish because they can't exist at such a positive frequency. That's true. Savage Boy says, I can't help certain people because they're too toxic. Maybe that's limiting beliefs. A lot of these people are on psych as well. Now listen here. This is not only for Savage Boy, it's for every one of you here. The human being has the ability and the option for good and for glory. Okay? But just because they have this potential doesn't mean they will honor that potential. Okay? There are people that need help, and sometimes you need to take a distance and help them from a distance. That's true. But then there are also people you need to be delivered from because they're just dangerous. Just know the difference between the two. Don't work from your own limited understanding. Look at the bigger picture. Hmm. Oh, let me see. Yeah, Sean Khan says sometimes you have to forgive people and love them from a distance. You need to do that with a lot of folks. For real. So I was about to talk about missing folks. So here we go. Let me make this screen a bit bigger. I know the website is in Dutch, but don't pay too much attention to that, okay? Just look carefully. Hold on. Okay. There are not that many pages, so hold on. Almost done. No. I'll be checking your comments very soon. Just a few pages more. Come on. Okay, yes, internet is working. Hold on. Okay, but first let me look at the comments. Uh, Luna said, can you talk about materialistic mentality and, hold on, let me go, and material idols like house and cars? So I said, email you on Wednesday, okay. Come check it soon, true crimes. Um, Ari also talks to people selling their soul. Okay, very short. Sean Khan said it already. It's okay to have a house and a car, but when it becomes your idol and you have to have the newest new and you use those objects to define yourself, that's when it becomes materialistic. And that's true. Simply said, cars, houses are tools. Okay? For example, this apartment I paid rent because so that I can stay in it during the night, so I can cook here. That's why I have it. Not that I'm here all the time. Okay? For me to have an address here in the Netherlands, I pay this place. So it's a tool, and I use the tool effectively. That's why not everyone can just come here and visit me because I won't just allow anyone to enter this place. If you have your um, energy bombs, your energy mines, and your Python spares, all of that, you're not coming in. I'm a, I'm realistic. So if you have a bigger house because you have family that lives there, you have children, or you're an extended family, that's good. If you have a car, it's used for transportation. As long as you can afford it and it doesn't hinder you, it's good. Those are tools. The moment you cling onto the tool and you're not relying on Christ anymore, it's wrong. Even though the objects are just objects, the moment you cling onto those objects, your mind has turned filthy. So then you need to be freed. Okay. Positive life. Well, the the topic is to faint not, but I've discussed multiple subjects here. What's my thoughts on people selling their souls? Well, to enter the money contract, you're out of your mind. For real. If you are tricked into using paranormal aid because you think there's something wrong with it, that's one thing. But to get into a demonic contract, you have to willfully and knowingly and consciously agree against Christ, against his people, against his word, against his mission, and you need to forfeit parts of your humanity, and sometimes you need to forfeit your whole humanity, depending on the type of contract you receive. And you are bonded to the spirit of death, or Thanatos, that demon is called also, under a threat to spread negativity and filth. You're out of your mind if you do a demonic contract. None of you here does it, but those that sell their souls and get a demonic contract, that's what they do. It's just out of their mind. Okay. So I've shown you guys all those missing folks here. Why did I do that? Because you could have seen when I shown you all those big people that they're not just one type of people that go missing. Now, when I talk about missing people to begin with, it's because understand this: nobody just disappears. Okay? Even if someone decides, you know what, I have enough of this life here, I want to vanish, you can't just vanish. If you go to another country or to another state, you need somewhere to stay. You need income. People are going to ask where you're from. You need to be in social contact with other people. People don't just disappear. Most of those kidnappings, by the way, not all, I call them kidnappings because someone just disappearing just like that, it's a kidnapping. Okay? I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Those kidnappings, most of them are just rituals done by the wizards to cause fear in the human population. And there are individual cases that's related to drugs. And even in the drug world, they do this in a ritual manner, even though they're not a shadow government, but the drug world is run by wizards anyway, so that's ritualistic also. There are individual crime incidents when people are jealous and envious and they attack someone, they commit homicide, it happens, but most crime are rituals, including most kidnappings. For example, this case here of Tanya Groen, till this day, folks weren't able to solve the case, allegedly. They hired fortune tellers on, on TV to talk about the case, and it got a lot of details, but for some reason the fortune tellers couldn't say who did it. And this is why I'm telling you never to rely on the paranormal. Because those demons know very well who killed that girl. But there's the thing, those folks that kidnapped that girl and killed her, they are in a demonic contract. They were leading the child abductions, kidnappings in the Netherlands in the 1970s, 80s, and 90s, and even early 2000s. And that's a known fact here in the conspiracy world, and also in people who are just looking for the truth in the Netherlands. They know who that crime syndicate is that comes from the city Nijmegen. More I'm not going to say here because it's a known fact. People even reported this to the police on multiple occasions, but nothing's done about it. And the common folks in the Netherlands just take it. This, she's been ritually sacrificed by those Apollo worshippers. She was such a young girl. I haven't looked into this case directly, but I have a bad feeling about this. But okay, well, no, I'm not going to discuss this one right now. Not that I know that much about it, but I just looked in some of these cases and I see the pattern openly. But okay, so okay, let me see. All right. Um, okay, I'm going to wait now on your comments. What do you want me to speak about? Because I still have time. Okay, I don't have work tomorrow because I work freelance, so I don't work every day. So what do you want me to discuss? I'll wait for 4 minutes to see what you guys are saying. I'm just gonna wait 4 minutes to wait to what you guys drop down. Meanwhile, guys. One, two. Gonna wait 1 more minute. Okay. Someone asked, what is your knowledge on TI's co intro pro and witchcraft? Someone else asked, when demons are removed from you, to leave and walk in dry places, come back with 7 other demons. When they come back, do they automatically get in only if you are weak? Okay. Okay, it comes. John Wonder asks, it comes down to this. When an entity, when when a demonic entity leaves a human body, or if because they're not always in the body, but they're attached to the energy field of that human being. Once demon is removed from someone, whether they were in the body or just in the energy field, what happens is that the demon just wants to relax himself. Okay? So then the demon goes to dry place. And what is a dry place? People that have, how do I say, people that have no prospects in life at all. Um, so demons love such individuals because those individuals are not hopeful, they're just downtrodden individuals mentally. And those individuals often drink a lot, smoke a lot, or they're into sexual violence and all of that. So such individuals that have a pessimistic outlook, that are dry because they're not really alive. Demons love to hang around such individuals because they they're not confronted with life. But eventually, the demon wants to be fed because the demon withdraws life source from human beings to feed themselves. Now, when someone is in a happy, joyful state, that frightens the demons. So the demons can't really handle that. But the demons don't want someone that's completely mentally and nihilistic all the time. They can't draw a lot from such people, even if they're men. So if a demon leaves a individual of good quality, and the demon doesn't find someone like an individual, the demon think I want to go back because the demon has no future. And then the demon goes to some demonic principality asking for assistance, and he will get assistance. He will get some troll entities who are spirits of violence, and the spirits of violence will tell him, dude, you've been kicked out by some weird preacher. Oh, okay, let's hold on. Oh, that woman you've been kicked out from, she still has mental disorders. She's still into relief seeking in multiple places. Don't worry, we'll get you back and we'll be there, and it's going to be a good. We're going to have a good time. And then those 8 demons come, and they will use individuals around the target to cause a shock in the target. And once the individual is shocked, so their energy field is a bit shattered, then the demons attach themselves to the individual. So demons can only return if there is an access point. Now, when you're born again and renewed in your mind also, there is no direct access point to you. But they then will use those around you as an access point. Okay, hold on. Okay. Now look, and I want to talk about that now. Thanks, John Wander, for the question. When you are born again and you're walking by faith, not just born again, because there are a lot of folks born again, but they're stuck in addictions, they're stuck in debt, in sickness, and a lot of stuff. I'm talking about those that are born again and walking by faith, so they're obeying the Heavenly Father. When that's you, demons can't come back. What are they coming back for? But what they will do is that they will seek those around you that they can use to withdraw from you, because demons are narcissists. They don't have any real life. They don't have anything going for them. So what they do is stealing life source from human beings, especially males. And they want good quality, because the better the quality, the better it is for them. The problem is they can't handle the real good quality because they're evil, because they're fallen entities. But that's their problem. They shouldn't be feeding out of human energy to begin with. But when you're born again and you walk in righteous quality, the demons want to control that righteous energy you're operating in, so they can use it for their purposes. It's the same as your man. Let's say that you're a man, you've made a big fortune, now you have this gold digger that tries to sneak her way into your life. Just as asked to you, you can spend your cash. That's how demonic spirits are. They are, how do I say, they are dedicated to gold diggers, or better, energy diggers. That's what they are. And they love male sexual energy the most. They're sodomites, okay? That's what they are. So they want to redirect your focus so that they can withdraw from you. Why do they want to withdraw from you so much if there are so many other filthy people around? Believer, the demons know that there are many other filthy people around, or people that are stuck that they can feed from, but they don't want you to be free, because you can glorify God, and they don't want any attention to go to the Most High, because they have issues against the Most High, because they cannot control the Most High. So now, just to prevent the Most High from getting the praise, they want to withdraw. They want to draw your focus onto some distractions so they can drain you. That's what demons want. So demons will try to come back, but they will not come back directly, because they can't when you're walking by faith. But they will use those around you. Remember that. Mm, yes, religion is distraction from God. Relicare is Latin for to bind again. And re means again in Latin, and legion means a legion. That's a legion of demons or of soldiers. So in both cases, religion means to bind again, or the re-entering of a legion, whether demonic or of the military. So religion is not from God. Okay? Hold on. Okay. Savage Boy talked about someone that spoke about sex often. Now understand the following. The human community rests on healthy sexual dynamics between males and females, because the Most High made mankind male and female. So human sexuality is male energy in fierce action, because the male, is a reflection of the Most High himself. He's not the Most High, but he is designed as a reflection of the Most High, especially the Afro man. The Afro man looks the most like God himself. Just read the book of Revelations, you can see the description over there. What happens is that when males operate in their that sexual power that God assigned them with, the female doesn't have it straight up. The female is a receptor and a transmitter, both on the physical level as well as on an energetic level. The males are heavy, intense spirit beings. Okay, so the power of sex belongs to the male. Demons are upset that human males have this quality, which is part of their nature. So demons are craving male sexuality. Not because, they want to feed alpha male sexuality, so they're sodomites. Okay, so evil spirits don't want you as a man to operate in that power of sex that God has given to you in the right way. They don't want that because the moment you do that, eventually you will have strong, healthy communities where Christ is glorified. So that's why evil spirits want to train the male by the excessive promotion of sexual or physical sexual activity, because not all sex is physical. Sexuality is a spiritual thing and you have the physical outworking of it. But the evil spirits often promote an excessive they promote excessive physical sexual activity of the wrong kind. Because those evil spirits, they are sodomites, so they will promote sodomy. That's why porn is so addicted to many folks, because you're seeing two men committing violence on one another. I'm not going to call it sex, it's just violence, but one is has undergone surgery and looks like a woman, but it's a man. So your brain is being messed up when you look at that. That's what they do. Or you see those billboards out there with trannies on them. Or in ancient times, you would have those statues of those Greek gods naked with little boys besides them. That's pedophilia. They promote excessive sexual violence just to burden your mind. I hope you follow me here now. Okay? So that's what demons do. Why are they doing this? So that people will associate sexuality with filthiness. They will associate sexuality with violence and with harm and exploitation. And the moment a population associates human sexuality with all these things, instead of associating it with Christ's plan to sustain and maintain the human population, and to and to uh, tra- and to transfer energy in the earth realm, the moment people are distracted from seeing the natural purpose of human sexuality, which goes through the male, then the human population is dysfunctional to the core, because the basis of what keeps their society, their communities going is is disrupted, and you're not allowed to speak about it because sex is a taboo subject, and now sex can be used by predators to prey on the vulnerable, often children, or well, the females, or sometimes even males, because you also have gay predators go after males. Yes. And the reason why sexual predation remains a big problem in many places in the world is because people cannot discuss sexual dysfunction, because to do that they would also need to admit that they are inherently dysfunctional, and folks don't want to go there. And there are many believers that won't address this because they are ashamed. They're ashamed of Christ because they consider more important how people will receive them in daily life than the assignment Christ gave unto them. I've spoken about sexual dynamics on this video. I've spoken about the power of femininity. Watch those series, watch those videos. If needed, I'll make more of them. Because this thing called sexual frustration, biologically and physically, it doesn't even exist. It's a mind construct you've been conditioned into that causes mental frustration that your brain associates with sexual activity. That's why they call it sexual frustration, but that thing, sexual frustration, it doesn't actually exist in the human constitution. It's an associated disorder that comes though to wrong thinking that you've been conditioned into by society. Okay? So that's how demons use sexuality to rob men of their God appointed roles in the community so they can train the men. Okay, let's see what other folks have said. Hmm. It's been over 1 hour, and how long has this been? 1 hour and 40 minutes. Alright, is there something new? So I think I'm going to end this live stream now. You can always email me. Just always hold on. Okay, first one more question of Andy is Sikwe. I believe that's an African individual. I may be wrong. How to deal with um, workplace mobbing, bullying by the collective. And Savage Boy, there is no fear in God, and God has not given us spirit of fear. So should not belong in how you relate to God. You should have an overwhelming confidence in Him by how great He is, and this overwhelming confidence. In this overwhelming confidence, you just want to do whatever He tells you because you trust Him so much. That's what the quote unquote fear of the Lord really means. It's no actual real fear because fear does not belong in how you relate to the Most High. Fear comes from the demonic. Okay? About bullying on the workplace, decree something like this: every mouth speaking against me, every mouth agreeing against me is shut down permanently in Christ Jesus' mighty name. And every tongue speaking against me is ashamed right now. Everyone in my environment complies in my favor all the time, willingly or of necessity. And if of necessity is at their own expense, I'm more than overcomer. I'm a winner all the time. I win in Christ's mighty name. Amen. Decree things like that in confidence and shake off the dust off your feet. And if it's necessary for you to get another job, the Lord will lead you. Okay? And okay. So always walk by faith, folks, and be at peace.